Could the Brooklyn Nets be trying to steal the New York Knicks lead assistant coach? And also, Julius Randle could sign a massive extension with the Knicks this summer, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because the Brooklyn Nets could be targeting the Knicks lead assistant coach, their associate head coach, Johnnie Bryant, according to Jake Fisher, who has been presented as a potential first-time head coaching candidate in Brooklyn. Now, Brooklyn is targeting basically every single coach under the sun because they just don't know what they're doing, guys. They don't. They do not know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they're doing. Mikal Bridges doesn't know what they're doing. Cam Thomas doesn't know what they're doing. He just knows that ain't shit funny. I don't know what is going on with the Brooklyn Nets. If they want to interview Johnnie Bryant, that's fine. Go for it. You got a bunch of young talent on that team. Johnnie Bryant, more than anything, he's a developmental coach. He has been credited by multiple young Knicks as the guy who really helped, advance their game, including these two guys right here, who we love no matter what country and what team they are playing for. And if you look here, Johnnie Bryant said to Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett on Instagram, "It'll always be bigger than basketball. Thank you both for the trust and respect. Much love." RJ and IQ both talked a lot about their relationship with Johnnie Bryant. Quickly told him that it was hardest to say goodbye to Johnnie Bryant when he wrote his letter about finding out that he got traded, and how that was one of the most emotional days of his life, especially when he saw Johnnie Bryant, who he was very, very close with. RJ has said similar stuff about Johnnie Bryant, that it's just his guy. They're very close. They built a very massive trust. This was the case with both RJ and IQ. They just really trusted the guy. It's the markings of what you want to see from a developmental head coach, someone who can come in and kind of spearhead a rebuild, like the Brooklyn Nets desperately need, and they can do using Mikal Bridges to get their own draft picks back from Houston, like when Houston offered the first time, except now they're not going to get Jalen Green in the process because the Nets are really stupid. But that's not our fault. Johnnie Bryant has also helped develop both Paul Millsap and Damian Lillard when he was working at Bryant Sports Academy as a head coach, and he was also there in Utah when both Gordon Hayward and Rudy Gobert broke out, both of whom have been all-stars. Rudy Gobert is about to win, his third Defensive Player of the Year in 5 years. The man's absurd at defense. No one really likes to talk about it, though, because his offense is kind of, it's not great, and a lot of teams in the playoffs have lost pretty early, and there's been some problems with the fact that he can't shoot a basketball, but he can surely block a basketball, and I have a feeling Johnnie Bryant probably had some effect on Rudy and both Gordon Hayward breaking out. As I said before, according to RJ and IQ, a lot of their development in the league comes from Johnnie Bryant helping them. Quentin Grimes got traded away, like Barrett, like IQ. The real only young homegrown player left is Deuce McBride. The Knicks are no longer that young of a team, and Johnnie Bryant, in his mind, Tibbs isn't going anywhere, not for the very near future. Maybe he'll retire in 5-ish years after his next extension that he signs, either this summer or next summer, because he's got 1 year on his contract after this season. But does Johnnie Bryant really want to wait 15 or more years to get a head coaching job in the NBA if another team comes knocking? Especially if it's the Brooklyn Nets. He doesn't even have to uproot his life. He just has to cross the bridge. He could still live in Manhattan or wherever the hell he lives. I don't know where Johnnie Bryant lives. What am I, his stalker? That'd be weird as hell. Do you know where Johnnie Bryant lives? I'm going to go knock on his door and tell him, yo, don't take that fucking Nets job. Don't do it. Don't do it. See, it made me curse. I'm going to get demonetized in here. But guys like Jordi Fernandez, who's the coach of the Canadian national team, and Kevin Young have both been named as other options for first-time head coaches. Fernandez obviously has experience guiding Canada to the bronze medal, and Kevin Young has earned the support of many of Phoenix's star players, really going back to the Chris Paul era, and just obviously Devin Booker and KD and all of them. So we could also see Kevin Young become a first-time NBA head coach with the Nets, or maybe Fernandez. I don't know what the Nets are doing, dude, so it's hard to tell. They've also kind of been indicating that they're interested in Mike Budenholzer and James Borrego. Borrego had that one job with the Hornets. I thought he was a good coach. He comes from the Popovich tree. So does Sean Marks. I can't even remember his name because the Nets are so irrelevant at this point. But, all of them, I don't know what the Nets are doing. So it's kind of hard to sit here and gauge what's going on with this franchise. They don't know if they want some rebuild era coach or some other guy who's been here. If they hire Mike Budenholzer, I doubt they're going to spearhead a rebuild instantly. They're going to be like, you're our guy, rebuild this team. He's going to be like, I'm middle-aged. Why? Hire a 40-year-old to do this job. Hire James Borrego if you're going to hire someone with already having experience. The dude was the coach of the Hornets. The Hornets are hardly a real basketball team. They've made the playoffs, once in the last, I don't know, since dinosaurs were around or something? They made it with Kemba that one year, and they got washed in the first round. I don't know what the Nets are doing, dude. James Borrego would be a decent coach, but also they're just an absolute joke of an organization too, and that's not fair to Borrego, but that's also how being an NBA head coach works. You get fired from your job, you're probably going to take on a job with a team that doesn't really know what they're doing, and you're at a more likely higher risk of losing your job, because when the losing starts to happen, the GM's going to do everything to save his job, including firing you again. So that has to be something that they're aware of. I don't know what the Nets are doing. I don't really think Bryant's going to get this job because all indications, I know I pulled this up, but something else that is mentioned is that they truly believe they can build a core around Mikal Bridges, and we're going to do a much deeper dive on that video, obviously, or on that little line right there. We're going to probably do basically a whole video about it, but essentially, the Nets are convinced that Mikal Bridges can be their star, or at least one of their stars, and they could build around him to some degree, while also trying to land another star like a Donovan Mitchell or something like that. And for that reason, I think they're going to just decide to do that instead of trading Mikal Bridges to the Rockets to get all their picks back, even though that's the obvious solution here. I don't know why they don't do it, but Sean Marks clearly doesn't really have a plan right now, and there's not much that I can do to change that. If I were the GM of the Nets, if I were to go turn on NBA 2K and use the Nets, I'd trade him for the picks back. Makes sense to me, but whatever. It's your problem that you created. I'm happy I'm not a Brooklyn Nets fan. I'm happy I live in Manhattan. But also, Julius Randle contract extension news. It's become time. As we know, Julius Randle signed that extension with the New York Knicks after his breakout season, and the year after, he kind of played pretty poorly, and everyone feared that it was going to be one of the worst contracts in the NBA. Since then, Julius has been named an All-Star both the next years after. In 4 years, he's made the All-Star team 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. 2-time All-NBA. And really just one of the greatest Knicks of all time when everything's going to be all said and done. As long as they don't trade him. There was an article recently by Forbes kind of speculating that maybe they will, because the Knicks cap situation, it's great right now, but they have a lot of extensions to sign. Whether that's Isaiah Hartenstein this summer, who they might try to run with instead of Mitchell Robinson, or maybe keep them both. Or it's obviously the OG stuff that's going to happen this summer. They're going to have to give OG a contract extension. It's probably going to be somewhere between $30 and $40 million per year. And then next year, the superstar himself, Jalen Brunson. It's also been hinted that Brunson could sign an extension this year, though he stands to lose $100 million. So I don't know why he would do that. He's probably just going to wait till he can get his money, as he rightfully deserves. I think none of us are mad about paying Jalen Brunson. I think we're all thrilled to give him every single cent that the man could possibly be paid. Yeah, I'd rather him take the smaller deal, but let's be realistic about this. There's no way he should do that. It just doesn't make sense from his perspective. When you look at Jaylen Brown, he's not making $63 million per year. That's not what's going into his bank account. It's turning into something in the 20s because of all the taxes, all the fees, all the other people you're paying, stuff like that. You're not getting all that contract money. Brunson probably wants to take that money and run, as he should. But it does mean the Knicks are going to have a lot of contracts to move. If you look here, this is a tweet by NBA University. I didn't mean to crop them out. This is just the amount of screen space I had, and I wanted to show every single contract. And what it says here is the Knicks cap situation is very clean. Nothing but great and/or movable contracts, and about to get a bit more expensive with OG plus Hartenstein this summer, but still an impressive job by Leon and team to build sustainably with growth potential. Ton of picks in the arsenal as well. So yeah, Julius's contract is going to get interesting. I think they're going to try to use that Bojan Bogdanovic contract in order to trade him to try to make some sort of star package. Alec Burks probably is not going to get any money. He's probably not going to stay with the Knicks. He'll probably just go and be on some other team or something. And so we won't have to worry about that. Jericho Sims has that $2 million team option. Who knows? Deuce McBride is on an absolute steal of all steals. Same thing goes for Dante DiVincenzo. You got that Josh Hart money. I don't really think Josh Hart's going anywhere. I think the two big ones here that you can look at a potential trade is Mitchell Robinson because of Hartenstein, and then also Bojan Bogdanovic if the Knicks are to accept that option that they have on it. But yeah, there's obviously some discourse on what if they decide to trade Julius Randle instead. I don't see that as a likely scenario. I just don't think this New York Knicks team is going to go out there and trade Julius. I mean, maybe they just do so well this playoffs where they decide, you know what, we're better off without him. I don't think that's likely at all. I think that's very unlikely, in fact. So that being said, Julius is going to be here next year. The question is he going to sign an extension or is he going to wait? And like the same thing, he stands to make a lot more money through waiting. Julius has taken a pay cut once before, so he might see his final chance to really get a massive NBA contract, and he's probably going to do that. So the Knicks are going to have to make some real payments over the next few years. I think they'll be able to defer Brunson and Julius till next season because both of them stand to make a lot more money that way, though I am interested to see where this goes. So guys, let me know down below what you guys think. Where is this going to go? Let me know. Like this video, subscribe to Knicks Digest. I am just exhausted. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good day. Go Knicks.